but we kick off a hockey-heavy edition of the starting lineup in La Belle Province with the Montreal Canadiens. The Montreal Canadiens.
You thought the Panthers win was just going to be the end of it.
Yeah, just the start of a new day.
Good times. We're going to roll.
Low roll?
The Habs are off to their worst 10-game start since 1941.
41.
John Shannon was 18 years old.
18. Produced the game, too.
Produced the game.
Yep.
Only the third produced in NHL history to that point. Sportsnet Habs insider, friend of the show, Eric Engels, Timmy, he described the mood in Montreal this way.
Yes.
Quote, somewhere between anger and apathy.
Wow.
End quote. 4-0 loss last night to the LA Kings. It was another tough night for Carey Price, who allowed at least 4 goals for a 5th time this season.
Yeah. And
some fans at the Bell Center mocked him, after he stopped the shot early in the 3rd period. Listen for it.
Ooh, kind of a Bronx cheer for Carey Price.
Yeah. I don't think that's warranted.
Carey, did you hear the crowd cheering after you stopped the long shot there? What was your thought when was going through?
I don't have anything to say about it. It's been done before and it'll be done again.
I'm not quoting the Price.
No. So, I mean...
You're doing the ooh before the you.
The you before the you.
Yeah, you're giving the before the...
I kind of like what you did, though.
Kind of hit
combine
the other
them.
one, but yeah.
I like combining them.
No, don't combine.
No, I'm not going to. Back to the Bronx cheer. What are those 5,000 or so fans who were left trying to accomplish by doing that, Tim?
I have absolutely no idea, but they better be careful. And I know that this is a thing that they do in Montreal, and I know they've done it to Price before, and I understand that Price understands that they've done it before and didn't seem to be too phased, although he was a tad bit curt.
He wasn't happy.
He seemed curt.
Yeah.
If I could use that word correctly, and I think I have. But I also know that they did it to Patrick Waugh in the past before, and I know how that turned out for Montreal in the past before. And that was obviously not Patrick Waugh. That was Carey Price in 2009, I believe, getting the Bronx cheer in Montreal. But there was a rather famous Bronx cheer given to Patrick Waugh, and they haven't won a cup since. So be careful for what you wish when you're doing that, and it's about 5,000 people who are doing it.
Yeah, not everybody.
No.
We have to be clear on that.
Right.
Not everybody. And the other part of be careful is, I mean, and to go back to the reference here, Tim, this is one of the more infamous moments in Montreal Canadiens history, dare I say. Like right up there with the Richard riots, to be honest with you. And this has implications if you're not careful. If you just throw around criticism of some of your most important guys, it can bite you in the ass. But the fans in that city got to ask themselves one thing: what's the real issue here? Like, really, it's Carey Price?
Well, Carey Price hasn't played well.
No, he hasn't. But
Excuse me.
what's the blue line's awful at both ends of the rink. Aside from Shea Weber's 2 goals this week, no one's scoring up front. If you guys are coming back to help out defensively, like we're really going to look at Carey Price and Bronx cheer him? Did Jeff Petrie get Bronx cheer when he finally checked somebody? Do these guys get cheered for that?
No, but it's easier. You know that.
It's lazy. You're right.
Yeah.
It's easy and it's lazy and it's ridiculous. And there could be repercussions off this. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater here in Montreal. I think that's the point in all this.
It's a pressure, and you can see the numbers below. 2-6-1. Those are not Carey Price-like numbers.
Absolutely.
So I understand maybe a little bit of the frustration, but you hear this, you think of what happened to Patrick Waugh, and then the Habs struggle with not much relief in sight, and their only tradable asset for me right now that has any sort of real value is the guy that you gave the Bronx cheer tour to last night. So when is it that we're allowed to talk about the possibility of perhaps trading Carey Price?
Wow. Did not think that was going to get broached today. When are we allowed? It's a good question.
If you're going to do that, what's the next step here?
The next step is disgruntled player. The next step is team keeps losing.
And
the next step is he goes up to Jeff Molson, if he's ever sitting behind Claude Julien and gets yanked, saying, I'm done.
I'm not sure you're getting to that point with Carey Price because I think there's a completely different personality between Patrick Waugh and Carey Price. Like, Patrick Waugh is a little more combustible.
No, but don't get it twisted, Tim. They are both incredibly proud people.
No, I said combustible.
But like,
I know he's a competitor.
But just because Carey Price wouldn't necessarily walk over to a guy in front of his head coach and tell him to bleep you.
Yeah, right.
Don't act like he doesn't have that in him to back channel it, to do it in a different way, but essentially do the exact same thing.
So when are we allowed to have the conversation? Like, is it? I'm not saying we're having the conversation, so everybody relax.
No, we're not having
And I was going down to Twitter to see it. But when are we allowed to have that conversation?
Not.
Sebastien.
Not now. He's shaking his head. Not now.
When are they going to get there? You have nothing else to trade.
You don't
Sebastian
trade.
is a fan of the Habs. You have nothing else to trade. It's obvious that you don't have enough goaltending, or you don't have enough goal scoring, and the goaltender is the only thing that you have worth anything. I'm sorry, but even if you get into the playoffs, which is plausible, the goalie is good enough on his game to get this team into the playoffs. Even if you get there, what are you going to do?
It's a valid point. But again, Marc Bergevin sounded like a guy who was like, look, if I'm going to get my pocket picked, if I'm going to get embarrassed here, I'm not going to make the deal.
Well, I don't know if it's Marc Bergevin, whoever makes the deal.
Well,
we're just starting the conversation.
Might not be Marc Bergevin.
To see if we can have the conversation.
Oh,
we're not down that road yet.
This is the pre-interview conversation.
Yeah,
I understand where we're at.
Because I don't want people to go, hey, Tim and Sid were talking about trading Carey Price.
No, this is... I don't think we're there as we have the pre-interview conversation yet. And when can you have it? I don't think you can even have it this year. Mm-hmm. That idea is so beyond me. Although this is a team that traded PK Subban basically out of the blue, so maybe I shouldn't be shocked by anything.
And a GM who did it.
And a GM who did it.
And a team that traded Patrick Waugh, who was a national treasure and a provincial legend after he had won a cup, and they haven't won a cup since.
Yeah, but the more you let it marinate, because there's an initial shock value to what you said there, Tim. When do you even have the discussion? Because no one's having that discussion.
Well, be careful.
Who's having that discussion?
Be careful. I saw a couple of tweets out there from local radio guys.
Tony Marinara?
No, not. He was talking about if they hadn't drafted him, which is the first step to the next one.
Bergevin didn't draft this guy. Well, he wasn't in that draft. Bergevin, that wasn't Bergevin.
No, they were talking about Andrzej Kopitar.
Yeah, but then Bergevin wasn't the GM. But
what's that got to do with him bringing it up?
No, I'm just saying, just like people would blame Bergevin for not picking Andrzej Kopitar. I'm just saying, let's not blame Bergevin for everything because he wasn't the GM.
Montreal fans are smarter than that.
Hopefully.
So,
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
And I don't think it's at any point this year. Unless he gets really, really, really pissed off at his situation.
The only thing that could salvage this for me right now, and you know I've been down this road for years about how they don't have enough goal scoring. The only thing that could salvage it for me right now is if they thought they could get John Tavares. And that's all a lot of Montreal fans are clinging to at this juncture in time is the possibility of getting John Tavares. And it feels like there's a basket, there's a bunch of eggs, and a lot of those eggs are being tossed towards the basket
tossing technique
that is John Tavares.
Look, could you get a boatload of stuff for a franchise goalie? Yes.
Yeah.
No one's going to dispute
everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that. I'm not now. He's still a ticket at $10.5 million on the cap, but could you do it? Yes. But things would have to go south to a point, Tim, that none of us can even contemplate at this juncture.
Right.
Like the dominoes that would have to fall for that to even be in play. That would have to happen another 5 times what we saw last night.
I don't know what they're doing if they don't have enough scoring. Weber is the age that he is, and Price is the age that he is.
You're getting ready for the lottery. That's what you're doing. Hab fans don't want to hear it. That is the truth.
You'll never be in the lower part of the lottery with that goalie because he's too good.
Well, you're there now, though. You're there now, though.
Through 10 games.
We all know 10 games is basically the season.
He's going to play better. They're going to win more games, and they're going to toy with the playoffs.
But would it be the end of the world if it stays this bad? Like, this is
No,
the part of it.
but I'm telling you it won't, and that's
You're convinced
bad.
it won't.
Yeah.
You're convinced it won't.
I'm convinced it won't.
Okay, see, we disagree on whether it will or won't, but I think we both agree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
that's
wouldn't be
bad.
terrible
You don't
for
want to
them.
be the middle road team when you can't draft as it is.
Yeah.
It's a bad place
Talking
to
about
be.
Rasmus Dahlin in Montreal. I got no
We're
problem
going to
with that.
talk a lot more about Rasmus Dahlin. That kid is unbelievable. Anyway, the Habs, a few days after feeling it was all fixed, clearly have not fixed a thing, and they're 2-7-1 on the season.
Saad writes in, and he has an avatar of Montreal Canadiens goalie that I'm assuming is Carey Price, and says, Tim and Sid, you are slowly breaking my heart. I don't know what it's got to do with the pumpkin and the eyes, but I guess it's around Halloween. And we're in a pumpkin studio.
I got to tell you, I don't, listen, hey Google, I don't like Halloween.
That's okay. Halloween's not for everyone.
Okay, well, that's a good answer.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I just don't like Halloween. I got to be honest with you. It's not for me.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
But we're in the Halloween studio, so does that mean anything?
Yeah, no, I mean, for people who don't know, some things were done around us. Oh, look at the bat. There's a bat with two heads.
It's kind of creepy, that
Kind of
part.
creepy. We have headstones done up.
No, that you and I share the same body.
It's Freaky Friday.
Yeah, it is freaky.
Halloween, by the way, is next Tuesday, so why not do it 8 days ahead of time
Wait,
or whatever?
what do those headstones say?
They say, I didn't even know they said anything. Let's go a little tighter here, Seb. Let's, all right, in memory of Sid's virginity,
What?
1978 to 2004.
2004.
It's not far off the mark.
Let me do the math there.
And here lies Tim's hair, 1975 to 2001. Was it earlier than 2001, Tim?
You know,
Or was it-
I would guess that the math on both of those might be wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm depending on which way it goes.
Yeah,
Right?
and you know what, kids? You
Might
know
have been finally when I shaved my head.
what? that looks more like you. By the way, orange pumpkins are for losers.